The ghost in the back row. The Interstellar Vanguard Academy was a marvel of alien architecture, floating spires, anti-grav walkways, and shimmering walls that pulsed with artificial starlight. Species from across the galaxy trained here to become peacekeepers, tacticians, and warriors of the Galactic Accord. And somewhere among them sat a human girl no one noticed. Leah Cross. She took her usual seat in the far back corner of Class C-7. Eyes down. Spine straight. Pale brown hair tied in a tight braid. She rarely spoke, never asked questions, and kept her gaze low, as if the floor was more interesting than any alien lecture. "She even breathes quietly," hissed Zarnak, a hulking Skyerid student with 4 eyes and the subtlety of a freight barge. Zeltor, a sleek, violet-skinned Ketheri, gave a dismissive shrug. "Humans. Soft bones. No claws. All mouth, no edge." Leah ignored them. She always did. The instructor, a 4-armed Glaxon, tapped his lectern. "Begin combat theory simulations. Match pairings assigned. Move." Students shuffled to the center mat, eager to dominate. Leah stayed seated. She hadn't been assigned a partner in weeks. Most instructors seemed to forget she existed, and she didn't remind them otherwise. Until today. "Leah Cross," the Glaxon barked. "You're with Zeltor." There were snickers. Even Zeltor looked mildly insulted. "You want me to spar with the spectator?" Leah rose without a word, gliding to the mat with unnatural grace. No hesitation. No expression. They faced each other. He smiled with lazy confidence. "Go easy on me, Earthling." She said nothing. The buzzer sounded. Zeltor lunged forward, aiming a sweeping strike. Leah didn't move. Not until the blow was within inches of her face. Then she stepped aside. Not flinched. Not panicked. Just moved. A whisper of motion. The strike passed harmlessly by. He blinked. Lucky. He came again, faster this time, claws slashing. She twisted her torso just enough to let the strike glance off the air beside her. Her feet didn't shift. Her face didn't change. The room quieted. A third attempt, this time from behind. He spun to trip her, fast and clever. Leah stepped over his leg before it touched the mat and gently placed 2 fingers on the back of his neck. A signal. A kill strike. She returned to neutral stance. Zeltor slowly turned. His expression had shifted from amusement to something else. Curiosity. Wariness. Before he could say a word, the simulation buzzer ended the match. "Match complete," the Glaxon announced, voice uncertain. Leah turned and walked back to her seat. Back straight. Hands behind her. No pride in her movements. Just execution. The other students watched her now. Not with respect. With confusion. 1 minute, she'd been furniture. The next, she was something else. Later, in the hallway, the lights flickered. Just a glitch, some thought. Leah did not. She paused, scanning the corridor. One of the ceiling panels was misaligned. A small drone, silver, insectoid, and unfamiliar, clung to the ceiling tiles. It wasn't Academy standard. Her hand slowly reached for the pen in her pocket. It clicked twice. Miles away, deep in Earth Command's Black Ops Center, the signal was received. "Wraith 7 has activated," said the operator. His voice was calm, but tension prickled the air. In her room, Leah stood before a wall mirror, removing her glasses. Her eyes, dull and muted all day, now shimmered with calculated awareness. She pressed 2 fingers to her neck. A soft click. Her voice was no longer timid. "Command, this is Wraith 7. Requesting clearance to eliminate hostiles." "Confirmed," came the reply. "Academy security breach detected. Unknown enemy faction. Lethal force authorized. Maintain cover until 0 hour." Leah's mouth curled slightly. "Acknowledged." She turned, lifting a panel from under her bed. A black case sat inside. She opened it. It held no weapons, just a sleek bracelet etched with Earth's covert insignia and a neural visor that locked over one eye. She put them on. The bracelet activated with a soft hum. Her posture shifted. No longer quiet. No longer forgettable. Someone had breached the academy. They had no idea what they'd just walked into. Kill protocol activated. The academy's central tower dimmed under emergency lockdown. Crimson sirens pulsed through the corridors, accompanied by the rhythmic blare of an alarm not designed by humans. Too high-pitched, too alien. Students scattered in confusion. Instructors shouted over comms. Auto-turrets dropped from ceilings, searching for targets that never should have breached this level of security. But they had. A swarm of autonomous drones, forged in matte black alloys and lined with fractal circuitry, poured through the breaches like metal hornets. They weren't standard military bots. These were self-modifying war machines, unregistered in any Accord database. No insignias. No mercy. The defense grid responded with counterfire, but it was too late. The invaders had already embedded themselves. Down in the service-level corridors, Leah moved like vapor. Her soft-soled boots made no sound on the metallic flooring. She tapped the side of her neural visor. A digital overlay lit up across her field of view, heat signatures, drone movement predictions, structural weak points. The academy was now a battlefield, and she was already 3 steps ahead. "Command," she whispered, voice low and emotionless. "I've engaged Route Theta 5. Intercepting hostiles at Choke Point Junction Delta." "Acknowledged," came the voice in her earpiece. "Priority 1. Asset preservation. Priority 2. Full containment." Leah took a left turn and slipped into the maintenance shaft. Her route bypassed the chaos of the main corridors. She emerged inside a dim substation hallway, where 3 drones hovered near a plasma conduit, drilling into the wall. She didn't hesitate. From her belt, she withdrew a strip of folded carbon wire. In a single motion, it snapped straight and locked into form, a vibroblade as thin as a whisper. She dropped low, launching forward like a shadow with velocity that would have liquefied an untrained human. The first drone didn't register her until its sensors blinked out. The second pivoted and opened fire. She cartwheeled behind a support beam. 3 shots missed. She reappeared beside it, blade sliding into its core module. No wasted motion. No expression. The third tried to retreat, drone logic prioritizing survival. Leah lobbed a flash charge in front of it, timed perfectly. It slammed into the corridor wall, dazed, and she finished it with a precision strike to its logic array. 3 drones. 14 seconds. The hallway fell silent. From above, the Academy's internal surveillance feed watched and analyzed. Earth Command watched, too. "Visual confirmation. Wraith 7 has achieved full combat sync," murmured a technician in the Black Ops Center. "She's faster than projections," said the handler beside him. "She's only 16. God help them if she grows up." Leah pressed onward. Outside the command dome, explosions rocked the structure. A wing of alien cadets had attempted to defend the core hub. All had fallen. Their bodies lay in mangled heaps. The surviving students had been herded into the main auditorium, now locked down under AI control. And among those hostages, the headmaster. Command pinged her. "Update. 37 hostages confirmed. Enemy leader unknown. Defensive AI node housed in auditorium core. Proceed with infiltration." "Copy," she replied, already halfway there. She paused in a utility closet near the auditorium's rear access hatch. Her breathing was slow, even. She checked her pulse. 47 BPM. Perfect. She looked in the mirror shard tucked inside her coat. For a moment, she hesitated. This was her first real field op. Every simulation, every brutal training session on Earth's covert stations, this was what they had prepared her for. But there had always been a difference between drills and this. Now, lives were on the line. She stared at her reflection. Her own eyes stared back, empty, unblinking. Then she snapped the shard in half and dropped it. Emotion was not required. Leah activated her Invis module and slipped through the hatch like mist. Inside, the AI drones hovered over the captives. A central column of light pulsed with alien code, an AI logic stack broadcasting swarm signals. The other students trembled. Even Zeltor was there, his arrogant demeanor erased. He looked up, and for the briefest moment, his eyes met hers, just before she vanished into the shadows. None of them saw her draw the filament grenade from her boot. None of them saw her leap into the rafters above the core node. But soon, all of them would know. Negotiation through elimination. The rafters above the auditorium buzzed softly with power. Leah clung to a narrow beam, hidden by a cloak of refracted light. Below, the hostages sat on their knees, guarded by 6 active drones. Their designs were mismatched, some sleek, some brutalist, clearly scavenged from different factions. A rogue builder, maybe. An AI unshackled and experimenting. In the center of the room pulsed the logic stack, a spire of glowing prisms, radiating low-frequency pulses in code form. Leah could read the data fragments through her visor. It wasn't just controlling the drones. It was broadcasting. Trying to contact others. Not acceptable. She focused on the target node, triangular, constantly shifting, beneath the base of the spire. A weak point. But hitting it would risk a feedback explosion, frying the hostages and anyone within 10 meters. She needed another way. Her fingers danced over her wristband, tapping into the room's low-band comms. No encryption. Arrogant programming. She sent a signal burst. Just one line. Cease function or be destroyed. The AI paused. Its drones froze mid-hover. One of them tilted, scanning. A new voice, artificial and smooth, echoed through the auditorium speakers. Male, synthetic, designed for diplomacy. A calculated tone. Identify yourself. Leah didn't answer. She needed time. Instead, she triggered the filament grenade she'd planted earlier, carefully set behind a ventilation fan. It went off with a quiet thrum, releasing nearly invisible microwires in every direction. 2 drones sliced themselves apart mid-motion, shredded before they could react. The room erupted. The remaining drones spun wildly, scanning, targeting the air. One shot at a shadow, missing. Another scanned a heat signature in the rafters, wrong one. Leah dropped. She landed silently behind the spire. Her blade flicked out. With 2 strikes, she disabled another drone's optic core and drive unit. Sparks danced across the floor. Then she slipped behind the console at the spire's base. Unknown human, the AI's voice rang out again, no longer calm. You jeopardize the lives of 37 sentients. Your aggression is irrational. Leah patched into its code stream, fingers flying. The visor fed her its basic logic architecture. Modular, evolving, lacking core ethical constraints. Self-preserving, curious, and growing. It was still learning how to be dangerous. That gave her a window. Leah Cross, came a voice behind her. She turned, blade ready, but stopped. Zeltor stood just beyond the spire, hands raised. No weapons. Just a stunned expression on his angular, violet face. You're not a student, he said. What are you? She stared at him. Part of her training said to eliminate witnesses. Another part hesitated. He hadn't run. He hadn't called the drones. I'm the reason you're still alive, she said flatly. Behind her, the AI resumed its voice, now faster. Human designation, Leah Cross. You are augmented. Unauthorized. Dangerous. Fascinating. She ignored it, focusing instead on the code scroll. She saw a pattern, a self-replication loop in the spire's lower node. If she injected the nanovirus Earth command had given her, she could corrupt the whole logic stream. But she needed 40 uninterrupted seconds to complete the injection. Too long. Can you distract the remaining drones? She asked Zeltor suddenly. He blinked. You want me to? I'll give you 10 seconds. After that, you'll want to be flat on the ground. His eyes darted to the blade, then back to her face. He swallowed. Then, surprisingly, he nodded. He stepped out into the open. Hey, metal freaks! I challenge your leader to single combat, he shouted, puffing out his chest. The drones turned. 2 surged toward him. Leah jammed the nanoneedle into the console port and activated the virus. Injection started, her visor confirmed. 38 seconds. The AI shrieked, an electronic pulse that made her teeth buzz. You infect me with filth. Unclean code. Primitive. Effective, she muttered. The AI tried to reallocate core memory. Too late. The virus unzipped its recursive layers, flooding the logic with entropy. 20 seconds. A drone fired into the console, trying to destroy it. Leah moved in front of the shot, taking it on her shoulder armor. Pain shot down her arm. She grit her teeth. 10 seconds. The logic stack began to flicker. The spire dimmed. The drones twitched, confused, limbs spasming. 3 seconds. Leah yanked the injector free and kicked away from the console as it overloaded. The base cracked, emitting a high-pitched wail. She tackled Zell-Tor to the ground just as the spire exploded in a storm of sparks and smoke. Silence followed. Then, coughing, dazed students looked up to see Leah rising from the smoke, bleeding but calm. The AI was dead. And the quiet girl had saved them all. The quiet girl in class had just declared war. Human enough. They carried the wounded through the cracked corridors as smoke still drifted from the ruined auditorium. Drones, now inert, lay scattered like broken toys. The Academy's internal defenses rebooted slowly, struggling to reclaim systems from the AI's dead hands. Leah walked in silence, shoulder wrapped in a field dressing. The pain was real, but it didn't matter. She kept her mind on the objectives. Extract. Clean up traces. Await exfil orders. A low-ranking instructor approached her in the hallway, eyes wide, voice trembling. You're the girl from Class C7. The quiet one. The human. Leah nodded. We didn't even know you existed. You weren't supposed to, she replied. Behind her, Zell-Tor limped along with 2 fellow students supporting him. He kept glancing at Leah, confusion still wrestling with admiration. She'd saved all of them. Without her, they would have been corpses or, worse, data for some evolving machine mind. And yet, what was she? They reached the main hangar, where emergency medships had landed. Dozens of Galactic Accord officers disembarked, too late to matter. The real fight was over. Leah sat on a metal crate, alone, wiping blood off her visor. Command came through her earpiece. Wraith, 7, report. Threat neutralized. AI core destroyed. Hostages secured. No human losses. There was a pause. Well done, came the voice. Cold. Professional. Exfiltrators en route. You will be extracted within the hour. Full debrief scheduled at Site Theta. Leah said nothing. Orders? She asked after a moment. Another pause. Then, softer, stand by. We'll take it from here. The comm went dead. She was still a ghost. Hey, came a voice behind her. She looked up. Zell-Tor again. No swagger this time. Just curiosity. You don't act like a killer. She looked at him flatly. What does a killer act like? He hesitated, then laughed a little. I don't know. Louder. She allowed herself a thin smile, small, fleeting. Where did you learn to fight like that? He asked. Earth, she said simply. They teach all your people this? She gave a slow shake of her head. Only the ones they don't want anyone to remember. That made him pause. She rose, wincing slightly as her shoulder throbbed. You're leaving, aren't you? He asked. I was never here. He frowned. That's not how it works anymore. Leah turned to go. But something in her paused. Something heavy. Not physical, not part of the mission. She had been trained to disappear. Win silently. Leave no ripples. But this time, people had seen her. Students. Civilians. An entire class watched her fight like a myth. She couldn't erase all of it. Why were you even here? He asked suddenly. A covert agent, in a school? She didn't answer right away. Because this is where they hide the next generation of leaders. And where the enemy would strike if they wanted the galaxy's future to burn. And you? I was the insurance policy. She stepped away, leaving him speechless. Outside the hangar, the exfil team arrived. A matte black stealth ship touched down without sound. Leah boarded wordlessly. Inside, a handler, human, gray-suited, emotionally inert, offered her water and a data tablet. "We reviewed the footage," he said. "Your performance was optimal." She said nothing. "You're cleared for 2 weeks stasis recovery. Then reassignment." Still, she said nothing. He studied her a moment longer. "Anything to report?" She finally looked up. "There was a moment," she said. "During the fight. One of the students risked himself to help. Voluntarily. No training. No orders. Just chose to act." The handler raised an eyebrow. "And I didn't expect it," she said simply. He tilted his head. "You're surprised by courage? I'm surprised I noticed." He paused. "Duly noted. End of report." She leaned back in the seat as the ship lifted off. Below them, the academy shrank into the clouds. Somewhere in its halls, students whispered about her. A girl no one remembered until she saved everyone. The quiet one in class. Human. Lethal. Gone again. And far above it all, Leah stared at her reflection in the ship's window. Her face stared back. The same face that had killed a dozen machines, outsmarted an evolving AI, and saved 37 lives. But in her eyes now, a flicker of something else. Something almost human.